Hello, hello, it's me again. Yeah, I know you're all excited to be here. Just like last part, go over real quick what we're doing. So we're rating art, the art of Fire Emblem Heroes. Neither me or John are artists. Surprise, surprise. But it's something I wanted to do. So there's that. As you can see here are tiers from Oliver's Lovelies all the way down to F. Inside those tiers, obviously, we have numbers. We have 3 categories. Each will be rated from 0 to 10. And you can see what our parameters for each tier is here. Let's see. Our first thing we're going over is impact. You know, how much the art stands out from the crowd, so draws your attention. Number 2 was how well it matches, whether that's the character's stats, their movement and weapon types, you know, those sort of things. Does this Armor Knight look like an Armor Knight? Does this Pegasus Knight look like a Pegasus Knight? That kind of things. And last but not least, we have just how well we personally like the art. It's, well, this part is something. There is a lot of... It's a very small window of ratings, to be honest, in this part. And we are overall harsher than we were in the first part. The second part from the first part. Where in the first part we did it live, we were going through it as we were sorting. This time we, before even recording, both looked at the artwork and then came up with our ratings. Then we came together to make the video and went through our ratings, putting them in their tiers. So the reason we did this is to hopefully not influence each other as much when it came to giving our scores, which is very obvious this time around, as in we have a character who has an 8-point difference, a character who has a 9-point difference, and even a character with a 10-point difference. So I'm expecting, and we're going to keep doing this for the parts going forward, I think. I'm expecting it to stay kind of like this one when it comes to ratings, unless there's a character, you know, that stands out very well and the right or wrong reasons. But I hope you enjoy. If you have anything you'd like to add or your own opinion on some of these characters, go ahead, leave them in the comments. Besides that, I think I'll just shut up and let the video proper start. So I'd say bye, but you're about to hear me talk anyways. You know, I had this conversation with Noah, and I suck at doing intros. That's why I recorded the one intro separately for this series, because then you have to explain stuff, and I don't want to explain it here. We're on to the seas! John, we had, I think, 2 mistakes in our last one. I don't know, you couldn't see the tiers. I placed 2 people in the wrong tier. I fixed it in the ending. Besides that, not a big deal. And, you know, I had to rearrange some people because they were out of order. But, what was it? It was one of the Braves. It went up a tier, and then Brave Silica went down a tier. They were both an A, but one of them, I can't remember who it was. I know it was one of the males went up to S, and Brave Silica was actually in B+. But I don't remember who it was exactly. I'd have to look at things, but moving on. We're on seas. You know, we did things differently this time. We what's it called? Looked at the art beforehand and decided numbers to hopefully expedite this process and doesn't take as long. I think it's going to take me longer to edit because I have ideas of what I want to do, but it should be faster to record, not take an hour and 45 minutes or whatever it took the first time.
God, that was insane.
So first up we have Sita, who I gave a 21 and you gave a 19, which, you know, close.
Yeah.
I can say this much: there's a lot of characters we're not even close to each other on. It's one of the reasons I wanted us to do it on our own, is I felt like we were influencing each other too much when we were deciding things. So, I mean, we both gave Sita an 8 for how well she matched. So there's that. We agreed on that.
Yeah.
But 20 overall puts her in B+. I don't think I have to say anything about that. Next up is Kane. I gave him an 18. You gave him a 17. Again, you know, nice and close to each other. We didn't have a single number that was the same this time on that character, on Kane. Though it was close. Both, I gave him a 7 for matching. You gave him an 8. So in the ballpark of each other, at least, right?
Yeah. I mean, he looks like a horse sword.
Yeah, well, he's in B because he has a 17.5, running down to 17. Here's one of our biggest ones, Canagus.
Cunnilingus.
You gave him a 17. I gave him a 25.
What about him implies that he turns into a tiger or whatever it is?
His mane? It's a lion.
It's just hair and a beard.
Okay, but you haven't played the Talius games.
That doesn't change the fact that he's just wearing a thin-ass robe and sandals and does not look like he should be in combat aside from his massive bulk, I guess, which is why he got the 3.
Yeah, no, I gave him an 8 in matching because he looks like his stats, in my opinion. He looks like he's got high offense and high defense, which is what he has in the game, so...
He's wearing a thin robe. How is that high defense?
Have you seen his muscles?
How is that gonna stop a sword?
They're not going to be able to get to any of the vital parts of him. He's too thick.
That's what piercing is for.
That's not a thing in Fire Emblem.
Well, so they don't stab people with lances?
No. Some people don't. People fucking flash with lances depending on the lance.
I mean, that's true and stupid. It's just not what lancers are for. But
Either way. So that gave him a 21 overall, so that puts him into B+. I'm gonna worry about organizing him afterwards. Camilla, I gave a 15, you gave an 18. We both gave her a 7 for impact. There's that much.
yeah.
I gave a 6, you gave a 5 for matching. It was the how well we liked it personally. I only gave her a 2 because I hate Camilla's design.
I mean, I don't like the fan service, but I like the design of her armor, fan service aside.
Yeah, if only she was even just wearing a skirt, maybe. I don't know. Like, seriously, what the hell?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a 16.5, so round down to 16. She's in B. I don't think she's yours, but oh well. Now we got Camus. I gave an 18. You gave a 19. I gave him 6s across the boards. You did not.
I mean, he doesn't really stand out too much.
Yeah, that's why I gave him a 6. And I'm trying to remember why I gave him a 6 for matching. I don't know. I think he looks more impressive than his stats tell you he is. Because, he's, I think, a Gen 1 Grand Hero Battle unit, so of course he's dog shit in game.
Yeah.
Either way, I gave him an 18.5 overall, so that's beep. Yeah, a B. Wow. Canas, they did my boy so dirty in this game, John. So dirty. He is the only dark magic user you get in FE7, not including Athos, which you can use all types of magic, but you only get him in the final chapter.
That's lame.
Yeah. But, Canas' stats is what? It's like Ray, but with like 3 extra res or some shit like that? Like, come on.
Something like that. He's garbage.
Either way, I gave him 20, you gave him a 17. We both gave him a 4 in his impact, which, yeah, he looks kind of generic-ish, so...
Yeah, he's got the monocle that bumps him up.
That helps. The monocle helps. That's why I gave him a 9 on my personal rating, because that monocle. Either way, he also got 18.5, putting him in B. Now we've got Katria, who is one of 3 characters we gave the same score of, surprisingly. We both gave her 20. We both gave her the same 3 numbers, just not in the same order.
Jeez.
We both gave her a 7 in our personal, but I gave her an 8 impact, but only a 5 in match, where you did it the other way around.
I mean, she doesn't stand out from the other Pegasus Knights in design, but I mean, she does look like a Pegasus Knight.
I'm trying to think what my thought process was. I'm pretty sure it was the skirt. I say that with quotation marks because it's got slits on the side too. Like, what the fuck is she wearing?
Yeah, but I mean, look at all the other ones, and they're wearing similar shit.
Yeah, only the ones from her games, though, I'm pretty sure. The ones wear at least skirts. Like, it's only her and Paula, I think, have that kind, and then S has a super short skirt. I don't remember. Pegasus Knights are all the fucking same, let's be honest. Either way,
Exactly, that's why it's only 5.
Either way, it's 20 overall. That's B+. Next is Cecilia. A decent gap here. I gave a 14, you gave a 19. That's mostly because you gave her 1 point higher in everything besides personal, which you gave her 3 points higher. So, it's not like our opinions differ that much on it, it's just how much you personally liked it. But that gives her 16.5. Wow, that's a B. John, we've only had B's and B pluses so far.
Wow, I was surprised. Never saw that coming.
Next up is Silica, who got a 20 from me and a 19 from you. The only thing we differed on was I gave her 1 more point impact. But everything else we said the same, 7 and 7, so no harm, no foul. But that's a 19.5, which is, oh wow, B+. Oh, guess what? Oh, what? Next is Shershi? I have no idea if I'm saying that right, honestly. But,
who knows?
I gave her 17, you gave her a 22. Our biggest difference is in the personal. I gave her a 5, you gave her an 8.
I like her armor.
You like her armor? There's something about it, though, I didn't like. But it wasn't like... It wasn't that I didn't like, it's just I didn't have strong feelings either way for her design, at least in Heroes. I mean, she's a great unit. I love using her in Awakening, but...
Oh yeah, she's a monster in Awakening.
Yeah, considering how late she joins compared to other units, and Awakening is very much a growth-based game.
Yeah.
But, 19.5, wow, B+, 10 characters in, only 2 things we've put him in. Next up is Crom, who I gave an 11 and you gave a 20.
You gave him an 11?
I gave him an 11. We both gave him a 4 in Impact, but I gave him a 4 in Matching and you gave him an 8.
He looks like he's a sword guy.
He does, but I don't think he matches his stats.
I mean, his attack is kinda high, but he's not super, like, muscled or anything in this design.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He
looks too average based on what his stats would tell you.
I guess.
Granted, his stats are fairly average, but the way they're lopsided slightly don't match. And then I gave him a 3, because there's something about his art I just didn't like in this game. I can't tell you what it is exactly, but there's something about it I just am not a huge fan of. I think I know what it is. I've hated it since I first saw Crom. The fact that he only wears 1 sleeve, and the other is like a tank top. Like, come on, seriously, bro. Look, I know you want to
show off.
I know you want to show off your brand, but there's other ways of doing it. You can just wear normal clothes and have your family's brand on the clothes too.
Nah,
just an idea.
Too much work.
Either way, between our two, that's a 15.5, which is B. God, wow, what a surprise. It's gonna be a while. We're close, we're almost away. Next up is Claire, who I gave a 22 and you gave a 16. Our biggest differences was just in our personal, because I gave her a 10 and you gave her a 5. And that's just my bias towards the Echoes characters, because I think they look great, both in this game and in Echoes.
I just don't like her head in this game.
Her hair, mostly, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Looks way, way too big. I don't know why.
It's probably just the art style. Either way, that gave her a 19 overall, John. That's a B+.
Oh god, still?
Yeah, we're at 6 and 6 now. Alright, now we got Clarine, who I gave a 15 and you gave a 12. All of our scores were roughly within each other outside of our impact, which was a 7 from me and a 3 from you.
I mean, the only impactful thing about her is the fact that it's a freaking child for some reason.
Yeah, that's probably why I gave her a 7, is the fact that she's a child.
Other than that, she just looks like a generic healer.
For the most part. Either way, that's a 13.5. John, that's a B-.
Ooh, that's something new.
Yeah, I know, right? Next up is Clarice, who I gave a 14 and you gave a 17. Our things were mostly within line of each other. I just gave her a 3 for personal, while you gave her a 6. I don't know, I just don't like your design. There's nothing like horrible about it. It's just there's something about it I'm just not a huge fan of. But 15.5, John. We're back to B. We gotta wait for one person. Next up is Claude. I gave a 23. You gave a 20. Our only difference is I gave him a 10 in personal and you only gave him a 7. But that is purely because I am 100% in the camp of the Golden Deer, and there was no way I couldn't give Claude a 10. But that's a 21.5. So a 21, which is B+.
That's still B+, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be a 23 to get out of B+.
God.
We're not going to get there for a while.
Sure.
Next up is Clive. 17 from me, 18 from you. Our biggest difference was in matching. I only gave him a 7, whereas you gave him a 9. And I think it had more to do with stats for me. I think there was something about his stats that I didn't feel like was reflected properly in his design. I couldn't tell you which side it is exactly. It's been like 5 days since we decided on these, and I didn't take notes.
Yeah.
But we both gave him a 5 for personal, because it's Clive. He doesn't...
He's meh.
Yeah. But he's like I think he's the lowest character in Echoes I gave. But that's a 17.5 overall, which is a solid B. Alright, next up is Cordelia, who I gave a 20 and you gave a 24. Our biggest difference was on personal. You gave a 10, I only gave a 6.
Well, of course, she's one of my favorite characters from Awakening.
I like her design overall, but there's something about her artwork in Heroes that I don't like. I can't place it exactly. Her Resplendent, whatever the hell it's called, design's great, but we're not judging those. We're judging her base. And there's something about her base design that I just rubs me the wrong way, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Either way, 22 overall. John, that's a B+. That's the wrong character.
Oh, god damn.
I somehow grabbed Edelgard from a tier below. Whoops.
Jeez.
Alright, now we got Corn Female, who I gave a 16 and you gave a 15. Our biggest difference, well, I guess was matching. I gave a 7, whereas you gave a 5. We have the opposite thing going on with Corn Male. But for Corn Female, I think it's mostly just because she has the Dragonstone and it's kind of a centerpiece of her artwork is why I gave her a 7. Like, I can tell she's a dragon, at least from that. But
I don't know, I feel like they don't really show off the fact that they're dragons in just the artwork that well.
one character for sure does.
Yeah, it's on this list, right?
Yeah. But either way, that's a 15.5 for Corn, which is a B. God, outside of Clarine, we're involving B's and B pluses. Corn Male, I gave a 14, you gave an 18. Whereas our biggest difference was in the matching, where I only gave him a 5, you gave him an 8.
He looks like he's a sword guy. Looks like he's a speedy sword guy.
He looks less like a sword guy than Corn Female looked like a dragon to me.
I disagree on that.
That's mostly just because I hate defeat. Why was Fate such a foot fetish game, John?
I don't know, but why does freaking male Corn look like he'd be more of a Dragonstone unit than female Corn? Because in a special artwork, he actually gets a tail.
I don't know. Either way, that puts him in B, because that's 16 overall. Next up is Cynthia, who I gave a 23 and you gave an 18. Our biggest difference wasn't personal, so there's not a lot to say there. Because that's just how our personal opinions of the art is. You got a 20.5 overall, so 20 overall, which is what? B+! We're finally done with the C's, John, and it's basically 50-50 B plus B, except for Clarine, who's a B-. On to the D's, which we have almost all of them. The only ones we're missing were the duos. Were labeled as duos, because they weren't, like, other events, besides just being duos. First up, Death Knight. I gave a 24, you gave a 27.
The sickest designs in Heroes.
I mean, we both gave a 10 personally. You're right. There was something. Is it just me, or between his default and his attack and special, his feet just changed shape slightly, it looks like? But, I'm trying to remember.
Oh, it's just because of his dance. Like, his foot's in the forefront.
Yeah, I guess. That's probably it. Either way, you gave him a 9, and Impact, I only gave him a 7. Either way.
I mean, his armor stands out so much more from everyone else's.
Yeah, but he fucking skipped leg day, man.
I mean... I don't think he did.
I mean, compared to his upper body, it looks like he skips leg day. Either way.
That's just because of the giant-ass shoulder pauldrons.
There's that, and he's on a horse. His legs don't need to be
that
as
too.
buff. But either way.
Yeah, my only complaint is that there's one other scythe user in the game, and that scythe is considered an axe, but his is a lance for some reason. I mean, it's because it is in Three Houses, but still.
Who the hell knows? Either way, John, not a B+. 25.45 is an A.
Finally.
Yeah, I know, right? Next up is Deirdre, who we have the biggest difference in scores with. I gave Deirdre a 27, you gave her a 17.
She's like so average.
I don't know where you're seeing average. Her art style's distinct. That fucking beautiful hair. This comes from a guy who hasn't even played Genealogy outside of the first chapter. I haven't even seen Deirdre in that game.
That hair is why I gave her a 5 for Impact.
You're insane.
I mean, yeah, we know this.
Yeah, I know. Either way, I think she looks great. I mean, it's obviously not perfect. I only gave her a 27. You gave her 17, so.
I mean, I don't dislike it. It's just there's nothing particular that makes me like it.
Our biggest difference wasn't personal. We had a 5-point difference there because I gave her a 10. You only gave her a 5. Either way, she's got a 22 overall. And that puts her in B+. Great. Next up, Delphia. I gave a 22. You gave a 19. Our biggest difference from the looks of it was personal. I gave an 8. You gave a 6. We both gave 8 in matching. I gave 1 more point in Impact as well. So, I mean, not a lot to say there. We've gone over what we think. We mostly agree with everything. You know, just personal opinion differs. But wow, 20.5. Where does that land? B+. John, this bell curve is looking more like just 2 solid lines in the middle of the graph. Next up was Dimitri, who I gave a 20 and you gave a 22, which means he's going to end up in B+. Spoiler alert. Our biggest difference was in matching. We both gave an 8 in personal and you gave 1 more for Impact, but you gave a 9 in matching where I only gave a 6. And it's because to me, he did not look like he's on a horse. He looks like an infantry lance, not a horse lance. And I think something about his stats, like he's got a high defense stat, but it doesn't look like he's got a high defense stat compared to his art.
I mean, that's fair. I don't know, it just looks like a horse riding outfit to me.
He doesn't look like to me because he's just wearing the officer uniform.
Yeah, he actually has armor over his officer uniform, though.
Not a lot.
It's not a ton, but it's more than the other two.
It's more than the other two, yeah, that's for sure. Either way, 21 overall, which, like I said, spoiler alert, B+. B+. Wow. Alright. Next up we got...
How did they give Dimitri a lower BST than Donald?
And despite that, Dimitri's a higher or a more valuable unit than Donald is, because...
Oh, by far, because his weapon is bloated.
Yeah, I know, because he wants a way later release.
Yeah.
Next is Donald. I gave a 21, you gave a 15. Our biggest difference was personal. I love the bucket helmet, so I gave him a 9. It's stupid, I know.
I mean, the bucket helmet is all he has going for him.
I know, that's why I like it, so I gave him
That's
a 9.
my thing.
Either way, 18 overall. Guess what? Spoiler alert, that's a B.
God.
John, this is getting upsetting. Next up, Dorcas. I gave an 18. You gave a 20. Basically the same on everything. You just gave 1 point higher in 2 of the things, so there's not a lot to say. I only gave a 7 in matching, whereas you gave an 8. I guess is the biggest thing to say. I don't know. It's slight differences.
Yeah.
Either way, 19 overall. Guess what? B+. Can you believe it? I can. Almost
get
up.
out of B.
Next up, Drog. I gave a 21. You gave a 19. We both gave a 10 for matching, because
Oh yeah.
yeah, he looks like an armor unit.
Oh yeah, by far.
We both gave a 5 in personal. I gave him a 6 for impactors. You only gave him a 4. I'm not sure why. I think it's
too much compared to other armored units.
I think it's because his silhouette is different enough for me that I gave him a 6 rather than a 5. Because he's spread out enough that you can tell his silhouette compared to other ones who are more grouped together in their art. You know what I mean?
I guess, yeah.
Either way, 20 overall, B+. What a list. Last up for the D's, Duma. I gave a 24, you gave a 25. I gave him 8s across the board, whereas you gave him an 8, 7, 10. So, the only difference again was a 1 point difference in matching, so not a lot to say. That's a 24.5 job.
Yeah.
That's another A.
Finally, he deserves it. I mean, look at him.
I know, right?
He's a beast.
I hate it. I don't remember what it is, but the thing he has that just does like 7 damage to people on the 3rd turn.
Oh, he has C-skill.
What the fuck? I mean, it's less broken than fucking Surtur's every turn at the start of Surtur's turn. 20 damage to everyone within 2 tiles.
Yeah,
What?
not to mention they also get -4 to all their stats, and he gets +4 to all his.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Surtur's just insane.
Alright,
He
small
never
break
dies.
before we go on to the E's and the F's. I kind of mentioned at the beginning, so I started recording a new series of Noah, John.
Oh god.
I'm playing Revelations, because Noah doesn't have Revelations. So he can experience Revelation's story. He has already cursed my game. So you know how Rickon is his
Half your
end?
people died already?
I've already lost 1 person. On chapter 7, John.
God.
You know you get 1 extra person on
What?
chapter 7 after starting of 3. I'm back down to 3 after chapter 7. Chapter 8's gonna be a nightmare.
Jesus.
He cursed my game though. My Azura has leveled up 5 times.
God.
She has gotten strength every single time.
Well, I mean, yeah, doesn't she have the same strength growth as Ike for some reason?
Higher strength growth than Ike, I'm pretty sure.
Higher. Jeez.
But the fact, it's like a
Why?
60% growth, and she's hit it every time so far, which is against the odds. But, she has as much strength as my Jacob. And only 2 less strength than my mercenary Corrin. Yeah. He's cursed my file. I don't know what he did, but he's cursed it.
How is that a curse?
Why is my Dancer my second strongest unit, John?
Don't make her a dancer, make her a mercenary or something at this point.
She can only reclass into Pegasus Knight, which I'm pretty sure she loses
That's
strength
worth
by
it.
reclassing into.
But she'll gain enough strength beforehand that it's worth. Because you know what? She's still a better Pegasus Knight than Ingrid.
Yeah, you're probably right. Either way, let's move on to the E's. First up in the E's, we got Edelgard, who I gave a 17 and you gave a 20. You gave her a 10 for personal, which
Oh yeah, I love her.
I understand why. I don't know why you like Edelgard so much. She's like
Team
awful.
Edelgard, that's why.
But to note, I gave her a 3 and you gave her a 4 for magic, and I think it's for the same reason. The fact that her defense is stupid high, despite her not wearing any armor.
Exactly. She doesn't look like an infantry axe at all.
Well, she looks like an infantry axe.
Oh,
she doesn't look as tanky as she is.
Or as strong.
Yeah. I mean, I do like her. Honestly, I like her Academy version way more than her post-time skip, the war arc. I don't like her design in the war arc, to be honest.
I just don't like her headpiece and hair.
I don't like her combat dress post-time skip, to be honest. We'll have to get to the Flame Emperor eventually. It's gonna be a bit till we get to there, though. Either way, Edelgard, 18.5, John. That's a B.
That's depressing.
Next up, we got Effie, who I gave a 23 and you gave a 20. Now, the biggest thing I want to point out is I gave her a 10 in matching, you only gave her an 8. Why did you give her an 8 but Drog a 10?
Because she doesn't have any armor on like her front lower half except for her shins and knees.
Alright, fair point. Fair point.
That is why.
Right, either way, that's a 21.5. Wow, that's a B+. God, they're like, oh! Alright, moving on. Next is Ear, or so you want to say your name. I gave a 17, you gave a 14. Our biggest difference was in personal. I gave her 2 points higher. I gave her 6 in impact, you gave her 5. We both gave her 4 for matching, because it doesn't look like she should be riding a flying Pegasus thing to me.
She looks like she's using magic, not daggers, too.
Yeah, I know. There's a couple characters like that, to be honest, but oh well.
Yeah.
Air, 15.5. That's a B.
Though I don't. Why is her injured the variation on her attack, but then her special is completely different?
Yeah, I mean that's interesting.
I do like that.
Note to point out. She's one of those few characters whose special isn't just her attack with extra effects. Some of them have, they're damaged with extra effects or something like that. But her damaged and attack are the same, but damage is obviously modified. Whereas her special is a unique portrait in comparison, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually tell that she has daggers.
Yeah. Too bad it doesn't look like she'd be flying in that dress.
Not at all.
Next up is regular Erica, who I gave a 24 and you gave an 18, and this is another point of bias because I gave her a 10 in personal.
Of course you did.
And then I gave her a 7 in impact, which I'm probably wrong on, to be honest, looking back on it. I'm not changing my score now, but it's probably lower than a 7. And then I gave her a 7 in matching, whereas you gave her an 8 in matching. So, either way, 21 overall.
She looks like a pretty speedy sword person.
Yeah.
With lower strength.
Yeah, 21 overall. That's another B+, John. Next is Sacred Memories Erica, the one on the horse of the tome. I gave a 25, and you gave a 19. You gave her 1 more point impact compared to regular Erica, and I gave her 1 more point in matching compared to regular Erica, so... I mean, just like regular Erica, because she kind of hits the same spots.
Yeah.
But it's a 22 overall, which is also a B+. Oh, man. This grouping is something. Next up, Eldigan. I gave a 19. You gave an 18. Spoiler, that's going to be a B. Actually, we're different on every single number. Where I gave 1 higher in impact and personal, and you gave 1 higher in matching. So, not a lot to say. We both agree. He looks alright. You can see that he'd be on a horse. I think it's something to do with stats is why I rated him slightly lower. But either way, 18.5, which, as I said, is a B.
Why? What is the long ass thing behind him? And why does he have it? Is that supposed to be part of his cape or cloak?
I think
whatever?
it's like a cloak of sorts. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. It's hard to tell if it's art, to be honest.
Looks honestly kind of stupid.
Yeah. Next up is Alincia, who I gave it a 19. You gave it 21. Spoiler, that's a B+. I think our biggest difference looks like to be personal. You gave her 3 points higher, as well as giving her 1 higher and matching. So again, not a lot to say. She reasonably looks like a flying unit at the very least.
Yeah.
And she, has the sword. But yeah, like I said, spoiler, B+.
She looks pretty fast, too.
Not a lot to note specifically that I can think of. Next up, Elise, who is still a 5-star locked unit, by the way.
Why?
I couldn't tell you. I have yet to pull her in game because she's 5-star exclusive in colorless hell. It's basically any Gen 1 unit that was 5-star exclusive that when that first demotion came around that didn't get demoted to 4 5-star has stayed 5-star exclusive. Except they're even rare now because they're not on new banners, they're only on retro banners.
Which is stupid in and of itself.
Yeah.
Why are 3 of her stats 32?
I couldn't tell you.
Why is her speed so high?
Because... Well, what's her HP?
30.
Yeah, that kind of matches what she ends up like in Fates, though. She's very much a glass cannon in Fates, so...
I don't know.
That.
I don't know if I got shafted and gross, but she was never great for me.
Oh no, she's never a combat unit at all.
Yeah.
I remember I was in late game in a conquest run and she had like 24 HP. And this was promoted level 10.
Yeah, sounds about right. Saying the fact that she's a child.
Well, no, she's
she's
an adult.
I forgot, my bad.
Don't forget, she's an adult, John. Come on. Either way, I gave her a 19, you gave her a 14. You gave her a 1 in your personal.
I don't like her design.
I like the hair.
I don't like the hair.
I like the color swirl in it. That's about it. That's why I gave her a 4. I also gave her an 8 impact compared to your 5. I don't know. All I'm gonna say is we texted about this. I'll talk about it later, I guess. I'll save it. Never mind. I'll talk about our average scorings. And the last part, very close.
A lot lower.
This part, not as close. Yeah, we got a 16.5 overall for her, which puts her in B. Because that's what we needed more of, John. A B and a B+.
Yeah.
Moving past Elise, we've got Eliwood, who I gave a 24, and you gave a 22. I gave him 3 higher points in impact. No, so I can't remember why. I think it's the art style with the contrast of his hair and his armor that I gave him a 7. But we both gave him an 8 in personal, and you gave him a 10 in matching, whereas I gave him a 9. And I want to say it's because he looks like, based on his stats, I think it was his defense, or maybe it was his attack that was a little iffy about matching his art.
I mean, he's not super heavily armored.
No, he's not. I don't think his defense is super high either.
It's
or his
not,
attack, but he gets a bunch
stat.
of bonuses from his kit for his attack. But
Yeah.
Either way, John, he's not in B or B+. He's an A.
My God. Is that a third A?
That's a third A. 1 B-, by the way. Next up is Ephraim, who I gave a 21 and you gave a 20. Our biggest difference was impact. I gave a 6, you gave a 4. I think it's the shading on his armor is why I gave him a little boost. I mean, he does kind of look generic-ish, but I like the shading / coloring of his armor. I think that helps him stand out a little bit against a lot of the characters who have very flat armor, color-wise. But that's a 20.5 overall, John, and we're back to a B+.
Still don't have him, because again, 5-star lock for some reason.
Yeah, same. I've pulled every other version of him. just not the base form.
Yep.
Next is Ash2. I gave a 17 and you gave a 16. Our biggest was an impact, and I think I gave her higher just because her hair plus the outfit was the main reason I gave her a 7. I don't like it per se. I only gave her a 3 personal. I don't like Estes' design at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say that. I like it better than some other characters we've had. But either 16.5. That's a solid B. Great. That's what we needed, right?
God.
Next up, Ethlyn. I gave an 18. You gave a 16. Our biggest difference was on impact. I gave her a 6 compared to your 3.
Again, so many of these characters look so generic to me.
Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, we've seen them so many times that we played
Honestly, that might be it.
this franchise so much. Either way, that's a 17 overall for her. Yeah, 17 overall. Which puts her in B. Haha. Next is Exalted Crom, who I gave a 23 and you gave a 27.
He looks so much better than regular Chrome.
Yeah, he looks better than regular Crom. I can tell you. I will agree with you on that for sure. I think he could look better. He matches very well to his stats and to his fact that he's a horse sword.
Mm-hmm.
It's just making me remember how disappointed I am that we still haven't gotten Risen King Crom's a fallen hero.
It's depressing.
Yeah, I know.
But one day.
Maybe next year. Besides that, you gave him a 10 for personal. I gave him a 7 because I like it more than regular Crom. But there's nothing about it that I love per se. We both gave a 7 for standout, but either way, as a 25 overall, John, that's another A. To the first Fae, who I gave a 17, you gave a 19. Our biggest difference was personal, and I would have given her the same as you gave her. Until someone, I was browsing the forums or something, and someone was talking about how odd her injured art is, and it's like, yeah, you're right, it's kind of awkward.
It is, and I think I was gonna give her a little bit higher if it wasn't for her injured art, honestly.
I think
her specials look so dope with the wings coming out.
I know, I like her art. Besides her injured, and then like I was reading further into the forum, and I'm pretty sure they were talking about how the guy who drew Faye's art, he drew art for another game or something like that, and like all of the characters he drew were had very childlike bodies unless they had a big hunkadonkas on them. So it's a questionable artist behind it, I guess. I don't know. Don't quote me on anything. I mean, she's like the one dragon unit that you can tell is a dragon-ish. If it was the fact that her dragon form was a fucking chicken.
Yeah.
Either way, 18 overall, which is a B. Great. That's exactly what we wanted. Next up is the second Fae, who I gave a 17 and you gave an 11. Our
might be biased a little bit against Fae.
Yeah, no, our biggest difference was on impact, whereas I gave a 5, you gave a 2.
She just looks so bland.
I don't know, I think the fact that she doesn't look like she belongs in a war stands out a little bit.
Donald?
Yeah, and what did I give Donald in impact? A 7.
That's because he has a pot in his head and you're biased.
I am biased towards the
pots,
pot.
apparently.
But if you take away the pot, he would have had a 5 too.
See, Donald's just a stoner. He's a pothead.
I can't believe you made that fucking joke here. Either way, second Fae overall, 14. John, that's not a B. It's a B minus.
I was hoping for a C.
Yeah, I know you were. We've only got a couple left. Next up, Felicia. Another character we have a matching score on. We both gave her 17s. I gave her one more in impact, but you gave her one more in personal. I think it's the maid outfit stand out a little bit, at least compared to the armored outfit of 90% of the cast.
Yeah.
Either way, 17 overall. Not all else to say. That's a B. Great. Next up, Finn. I gave a 20. You gave a 19. Our biggest difference was in impact. I gave 6. You gave 4, which seems to be happening a lot.
Yeah, the dice just don't hit me the same way they hit you.
Either way. Finn, 19.5. Wow. B+. Great. Oh. Guess what, John? Next character also has a 19.5. Because next is Fear. Well, I gave a 19, but you gave a 20. And our biggest difference is you gave her 2 higher in personal, 1 higher in match, where I gave her 1 more in impact. So, I don't think there's a lot to say. Her dad's got the stash though, so unfortunately she doesn't have a stash. You failed me, Fear. Could have had a stash like your father. Could have gave you a couple extra points. Next up is Fajormi, who I gave a 21 and you gave a 16. I think she stood out because I gave her an 8, where you only gave her a 5. You're just a lot more harsh.
I don't know. The only thing that stands out about her to me is the right spots on her shoulder pauldrons.
I mean, I guess it helps out that she was the first Nifil, whatever the place is called, character we got. Yeah, Niflheim. Yeah. So, and at least her design reflects that to me at the very least. A little bit.
I suppose.
Alright, 18.5 though, John. That's a
but I don't know, she kind of looks like she could be a flying unit though. Almost.
She looks more like a flying unit than Fear does, yeah. Not Fear,
yeah.
What's her name?
Air. Yeah. She has feathers on her freaking shoes and on her cape thing.
Yeah, I think that's more to insulation though, because she's from a very cold place. That could be more to keep her warm.
Yeah, but those spots are shitty for insulation.
Oh, dude, I didn't say it was fucking smart. I don't think she was smart or the designers were smart.
They weren't. It's not a good design.
Either way, we got 3 left. Let's get through this. Next up is Flora, Felicia's sister, who I gave the exact same scores to because she basically looks the same, with just slightly different positions in her art.
Yeah, I just like her a little bit better.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, I think you gave her very similar scores to her sister. You gave her 1 more in personal, 1 more in matching. Whereas I gave her the exact same scores. Either way, that's an 18 overall, John. She's in same tier as her sister. In B.
Yep.
We're back to having the same amount of B pluses in B, but we have 4 A's, but only 2 B minuses. So we got a slight bell curve. Alright, 2 more. Next is Florina, who I gave a 15, you gave a 17. Our biggest difference was in matching and in impact, actually, because we have a 3-point difference in both. I gave her 3 higher in impact, whereas you gave her 3 higher in matching. I only gave her 6. You gave her a 9.
I mean, she looks like a flyer.
I want to say it's her stats for me. Is why I only
honestly,
gave her 6.
Looking and seeing that she has 34 reds for some reason, maybe I rated her a little high, but
If we have anything we want to change, we'll change it in the last episode.
Yeah.
Either way,
last episode we can do a quick run over certain characters we had big differences on.
Yeah. Either way, that's a 16 overall, John. That puts her in B. All right, and the last character we have for this part, Frederick, who we both gave 22s. The difference being, I gave him 3 more in impact, whereas you gave him 1 more in matching and 2 more in personal. You are just so harsh on these people when it comes to impact.
Yeah.
They're
all starting to blend together already, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you did text me saying they all look the same. I'm only on... Who were you even on? You were still in the C's, I'm pretty sure.
I think so, yeah.
I think you were on, Clairine or something. They all look the same to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, we both gave him 22. 22, John. It's a B plus.
Damn it.
We have the same amount of B plus and Bs. I gotta organize them. I'll do that later in the end. But the things I want to talk about were our average scores. So in the first part, my average was an 18 point. I'm just gonna round these. 18.4. If we don't include the bride characters, I gave a 19.7. This part, I gave a 19.4 overall. You, on the other hand, gave a 17.9, well, 18.0 if we were rounding, honestly, because you have 17.97. But then a 19.4, not including the brides. You only gave an 18.7 in this part.
I was being too generous last time.
Yeah. There's also the fact that you gave 18 10s in the first part compared to my 10. And in this part, we both only gave 8 10s out.
I suppose it gave that many, honestly.
We didn't have a single character outside of A and B in this part. Which, most of our characters last time did fall in the Bs. But we actually had some things outside of B. I don't think we had a single F still.
I don't think we're going to if it's only 5 points.
It's a 6 point range. It's 0 to 5. If someone gets a 0.
I suppose.
Either way, I'll organize this and record other thing in the end. But I guess we're done here for now, which significantly faster. About half the time.
Yeah.
Especially since we covered 4 more characters. I don't think we said as much about the characters, but I don't know, we'll work out the kinks. If we have anything special to say. Maybe we should take notes next time for next episode.
Maybe.
Because I had mental notes, but like I said, that was like 5 days ago. I don't remember shit from this morning. So, I don't know why I thought I'd remember.
I don't remember shit from the beginning of this call, so...
Quick, John, what was Castria's score?
I have no fucking clue.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I guess that's it. I'd say bye, but I'm gonna have to record an extra part, so there's no point in me saying bye. If you want to say bye, though, John.
Alright. Deuces.
Alright, cool. Better than Noah. Noah didn't say bye. Noah just, I said bye for the first part, and then Noah just didn't say anything for like 30 seconds. And just refused to say anything, so I ended it. He's like, I was trying to see how long he'd go. It's like, what the hell, Noah? I don't know why. Anyway. I was about to say bye, but I don't need to say bye because I have to record more. Well, just like last time, adding a little bit on the end, I think I said during the video, just going through organizing by numbers within their tiers. This time, no one's in the wrong tier like last time, so improvement. Our A tier, our 4 people in A tier are now organized. The Death Knight had a 25.5 as their highest. Exalted Crom had a 25, so it'd be second. Duma's at 24.5 and Eliwood's at 23. Our giant B plus and B tiers. B plus. Let's see. Cordelia had a 22. Deirdre had a 22. Second Memories Erica had a 22, and Frederick all had 22. Claude and Effie both had a 21.5. Canigus, Dimitri, and Erica all had 21s. Cynthia, Delphia, and Ephraim all had 20.5. Sita, Katria, Drog, and Alincia all had 20s. Silica, Shershi, Finn, and Fear all had 19.5. And then Claire and Dorcas both had 19. Camus, Canas, Edelgard, and Eldigan, and Fajorm all had 18.5. And just a reminder, we're rounding down. Donald, Faye, and Flora all had 18s. Kane and Clive both had 17.5. Ethlyn and Felicia both had 17. Camilla, Cecilia, Elise, and Est all had 16.5. Corn, Mel, and Florina both had 16. Crom, Clarice, Corn, Female, and Air all had 15.5. And then only 2 B minuses were Faye and Clarine. Faye had a 14 and Clarine had a 13.5. So yeah, how does that match up overall with the rest? With the last bit? Well, we're a lot more in the B's this time. It's a lot more condensed. As I said in the actual bulk of the video, we did do this separately this time rather than as we went on, so as you can tell the video is shorter. I feel like this is a better method, so we're not influencing each other. It also gave us a thing where we had a 10-point separation on one of our characters, but there's that. So who knows? We'll probably continue it doing this way for the next part. By the end, I will do a full recap of the entire list, which is going to be a pain because it's 570 something characters and it grows every day, every week, because more characters keep getting released and added to the list of people we have to go back to later. Besides that, I got nothing else to add to this part because there wasn't anything major. I'll probably, I don't know, like I just said it so far, but if you have any disagreements with us or your own opinions, go ahead and leave it down in the comments. You know, we're totally open to criticism. I'd like to hear what other people have to say about this stuff. But until next time, bye bye.